So we have one pendant left to get, and looking at our map, it seems to be way up north in the mountains. So we might as well head in that direction. Huh. How do we get up there? Anyways, as we try to figure out how to get up the mountain, I stumbled across this witch. She says, the smell of rotten fruit. Oh, excuse me, I didn't realize you farted. Oh, she's talking about the mushroom I have. Well, now I just feel awkward for the both of us. If we give it to her, she can finish her brew. I've seen enough fairy tales to know that this is an awesome idea. Here's the mushroom lady. She takes the mushroom and tells us to come back later for something good. Heh. Well, I'll keep that creepy proposition in mind. What does this sign say? Welcome to the magic shop. Yeah, you don't say. The Waterfall of Wishing is just ahead. Ah, yes, the Waterfall of Wishing. I vaguely remember someone saying something about that. Let's go check it out. Unfortunately, a giant boulder stands in our way, but thankfully we have the power glove. We used to struggle picking up tiny stones, but now with the power glove we can pick up boulders with ease.
I love the power glove. It's so bad.
Yeah, well, just keep your power gloves off her, pal, huh?
This movie was a fever dream. God, sorry, I got distracted. What was I doing? Right, looking for the Waterfall of Wishing. Well, I think I found it, but I can't tell for certain as I can't swim. If only someone could teach me how to swim. Hey, is that a Zora? I kinda remember someone mentioning that Zora can turn people into fish, and fish can swim. I think. My last class of biology was like 4,000 years ago for me. Anyways, as we head down the river to its source, along the way we dodge an army of Zora trying to make us sleep with the fishes. We eventually find this big chungus of a Zora. Is Big Chungus a reference people are going to know anymore? Anyways, he asks us what we want. And without any prompting whatsoever, we ask him for a pair of flippers. He laughs and says he doesn't give the flippers away for free, but he will sell them to us for 500 rupees a pair? Man, remember when having 200 rupees seemed like a lot? There must have been some crazy deflation of value between A Link to the Past to the original. So I pay the big Zorungus 500 rupees, and he gives us the flippers, on top of the ability to use the magic waterways of the sea folk. Whenever we see a whirlpool, we should dive into it. You never know where it'll lead. Oh, I know where a whirlpool leads. The bottom of the river! Is this guy trying to kill me? Anyways, we got the Zora's flippers now, so we can swim anywhere. We're even able to pick up this piece of heart by swimming down a waterfall near the chunky fish man. But more importantly, this means we can swim into the Waterfall of Wishing, which leads us to a pond. A mysterious pond. Won't you throw something in? Yeah, that seems legit. Here's my boomerang. Suddenly, a great fairy appears before us and asks us if we dropped this boomerang. I mean, in my defense, I was asked to, so yes. She tells us that she likes an honest person and will give us something better in return. She then gives us the magic boomerang. Holy cow, how many items will you upgrade, pond lady? Turns out only my shield can be improved. But now I have a fire shield, which protects me against fireballs. That's neat, I guess. Oh look, a whirlpool right outside of the wishing well, or the mysterious pond, or whatever it was called. Let's dive on in. Somehow we wound up at Lake Hylia, where we landed right in front of the island in the middle of the lake. Is it still considered an island if it's in the middle of a lake? Why am I asking this question when I already know the answer? Anyways, on the island we can find a cave, and inside of that cave we can find another pond. This is the Pond of Happiness, and it asks if we want to throw our rupees into it. I don't know about you, but when I picture happiness, I definitely imagine throwing my hard-earned money into a giant hole, so I absolutely threw some rupees in. In fact, I decided to throw in 100 rupees to increase my happiness level to 100. And this caused a beautiful woman to appear before me. And she says that she will make our wish come true. Throwing enough money away until a woman comes to grant all of our wishes. What did Nintendo mean by this? Anyways, Link, who has a one-track mind, his deepest wish is to increase the ability to either carry more bombs or more arrows. Depending on which one you choose, it will increase the maximum amount you can carry by 5. You can do this until you get to either 50 bombs or 70 arrows. I'll be getting these maximums off screen so as to not annoy everyone with the rupee throwing grind. Anyways, now that we're done with being happy, we should probably get back to figuring out how to get to that pendant. Hey, let's see if we can't swim up to the mountain. Why? Look, if it's good enough for salmon, it's good enough for me. As we swim under this bridge, we are unfortunately blocked from returning to our ancestral breeding grounds by a wall of rocks. But while we're under here, we can spot a guy sleeping underneath this bridge. Talking to him reveals that he knows us somehow and our situation, and all he can do to help us is give us a bottle. I mean, I'm not going to complain about a free bottle, but I feel like there's more that you could be doing, tent dude. Anyways, as we head to the north, we eventually run into a couple of lumberjacks who are attempting to cut down a tree. One of them warns us about a mysterious fog in the forest. Yeah, no idea what's going on there. I'm definitely not looking into that or anything. The other one tells us that the tree that they're cutting feels kind of strange. As somebody that has only been present for a couple of trees that needed to be lumberjacked, I'll take your word for it. Near the lumberjack's home, there is a sign that says, "Danger, do not enter Death Mountain without the king's permission." Well, the king's presumably dead at the moment, so I'm just going to lift this boulder and head into this dark cave. Eventually we find this old man who says, old man voice, "I don't know who you are, but if you are going up to the mountain, will you take me with you? I lost my lamp, so..." Sure, I guess I can lead you out of here, especially since you didn't give me any other option. This old man will give us warnings about holes in the ground, and he'll give us directions to get out of this cave. He then begins questioning, why are we on this mountain? "Are you looking for the golden power? Well, just as a warning, the mountain is full of monsters and many people vanished in this mountain." Are you about to confess to being a serial killer, old man? To be fair to him, he does try to dissuade us from throwing our lives away looking for the golden power. He also mentions that he has a granddaughter who is around our age. She was one of the maidens who was kidnapped by Aghanim. He theorizes that kidnapping the girls must be part of the wizard's plan to use the power of the descendants of the wise men. Way to be the last person to come to that conclusion. As we leave the cave, we eventually lead the old man to his house, which is another cave. How did you get lost in something similar to your house? That's like going to an IKEA and getting lost inside of it, which has happened to me before, so you know what, fair enough, old man. Anyways, he tells us that he believes that the missing maidens are still alive somewhere and that a hero will rescue them. He then shows off his conspiracy theorist mind by saying that he talked too much and thanks us for helping him out by handing us the magic mirror, which we should look into if we ever wander into a magical transporter. So remember kids, if you see a dark cave, be sure to walk into it because there might be old men in there waiting to give you presents. He then goes to head inside. If we invite ourselves in and speak to him, he tells us that we need the moon pearl, which is in the tower on top of the mountain. Thank goodness somebody mentioned the tower before we got there. A tower? Man, that must be where the pendant is at. Anyways, as we head to the top of the mountain... Oh, shoot, I fell. Well, thankfully, we can find a piece of heart and a panel from Sahasrahla. Sahasrahla tells us that as we make our way to the top of Spectacle Rock, we can reach the Tower of Hera on top of Death Mountain. Just based on the name alone, I'm gonna guess that's the next dungeon. I mean, I don't have to guess, I've been playing this game since before most of you were born. Although I really can't say that, as according to analytics, my audience is primarily older than me. How's your back doing, bud? Anyways, as we head up to be near Spectacle Rock, we can find the base of a tower, but we can't get to it. All we can find is this blue panel. Stepping on the panel will warp us to a new location and for some reason transform us into a defenseless rabbit. Huh. Well, that doesn't happen every day. It might be due to my new Leopard senses, but something seems very off with our current surroundings. Opening up our map will reveal that something strange has happened in the world of Hyrule. Everything seems twisted and out of order. It might be best to look around for clues as to where we are. Nearby, we can find a goblin-looking creature that's kicking around a ball-looking creature. Talking to the goblin, he says, "What do you want? Do you have something to say to me, silly rabbit?" Silly rabbit? Aw, I thought I was a manly rabbit. Anyways, the bully here says, "I came here to get the power of gold, but now I'm a freak, and I can't get back to the real world." I have a feeling that you were a freak before you wound up here. "If only I had the moon pearl from the Tower of Hera, I could get back to my original shape." I feel like this game is really trying to get me to realize how important this moon pearl is. "I've got good reason to be stressed out, so back off. Shoo, shoo." Well, it doesn't seem like he knows where we're at either. Or at the very least, he's not going to tell us. Why don't we talk to this sentient rock instead? The round rock says, "Oh, who are you, Mr. Bunny? Well, you're far kinder. This world is like the real world, but evil has twisted it. The golden power is what changed your shape to reflect what is in your heart and mind." The golden power is here? Then we must be in the golden land. Or at least, what used to be the golden land. Twisted by evil, it has become the dark world. Trust me, we're going to get more into the concept as we go along. But for right now, we're going to continue our conversation with this tiny little rock. "I am always changing my mind, so I turned into a ball." Why in the world are balls such a big deal in this game? But if you have a ball called the Moon Pearl, you can keep your original shape here. I wonder how many times we're going to hear about the Moon Pearl before we actually get to it. Anyways, we have to find our way out of the Dark World. Walking around, we seem to be stuck on top of this mountain. I can't seem to find any way out of here. Oh, wait a minute, the old man at the mountain. He gave us the magic mirror just in case we accidentally wandered into a magical transporter. Well, we got nothing else going for us. Might as well give it a shot. Oh, neat. We're not a rabbit anymore. Also, we're on top of Spectacle Rock. Thank you for your comment correcting my pronunciation. It really helps us in the algorithm. Anyways, we can grab this piece of heart and jump off Spectacle Rock to head towards the Tower of Hera. The Tower of Hera is a 6-floor behemoth. Also, I hate to bring this up, but what is this tower named after? I know it's named after Hera, the Greek goddess of constantly being cheated on by your brother, but who is that in the Zelda universe? What, are you telling me that they didn't care about their lore and building their own universe until Ocarina of Time? Because that's too reasonable of an explanation for most Zelda fans. I am one of those fans. Anyways, as we climb the tower, we'll run into hard hat beetles, which can knock us around and cause us to fall down to a lower floor. Oh, this is going to be one of those types of dungeons. Annoying. As we get higher up in the tower, we find a Sahasrara panel, and he decided to tell us that the Moon Pearl is in the tower. Oh gee, you don't say. It's only been mentioned like 1,000 times. There does seem to be a big chest on this floor, but we can't get to it, even by using these weird stars on the ground, which change the position of the holes. Not sure how that works physically, but I'll roll with it. If we go one floor up, we can find this hole in the ground, which if we fall through from the top, we can land on the platform with a way to get to the big treasure chest. If you fall from the bottom, you reset the path, wasting your time. The worst sin in gaming. Opening the big chest with the big key, which for those of you that care was located in the basement, reveals that it's holding the Moon Pearl. Wow, I couldn't have guessed that in 1,000 years. Well, anyways, there's only one thing left to do in this dungeon, and that's fight the boss of this dungeon. At the top of the tower, we can find the boss, which is Moldorm. This guy. For those of you that don't know, this is quite possibly the most annoying boss that exists in the entire franchise. All you have to do is slice his tail. Sounds easy, right? Wrong! If Moldorm touches you, he will push you around, and if you get pushed off the edge, you'll fall to the floor below and have to start the battle all over again. I mean, look at how ridiculously far this pushback is. And when I mean you start the battle over again, I mean you start the battle over again. If you fall down, you gotta climb all the way back up, and sometimes you're gonna fall down multiple floors. Moldorm requires 6 hits to kill. If you fall on the 4th hit, you gotta start over. Also, if you hit his head on accident, it's also likely to push you off the platform. And the best part of all, when you get to the 5th strike, Moldorm starts moving faster, which makes it far more likely to push you off the edge and have to start over again. I am surprised that when they were making this masterpiece of a game, the designers took a look at this boss fight and said, yep, that's good, keep it as is. Suppose they were just aiming for that 39 out of 40 Famitsu score. Anyways, after we finally deliver the final blow on Moldorm, he explodes in what I hope was an excruciating death. He drops a heart container and the final pendant drops from the ceiling. I have no idea why they were all up above in the ceilings, but whatever. We now have the Pendant of Wisdom, which gives us all 3 pendants. Now let's head to the Lost Woods to get the Master Sword.